These are the stories that keep me up at night. The missing, the murdered, the mysteries that have gone unsolved in our own backyards. I've covered crime in North Texas for more than 25 years, and now I'm opening up my reporter's notebook to you, revisiting cold cases and crimes that made headlines. Back in June of 2004, Dallas was rocked by the murder of Larry Wheat. It's very vivid in my mind because he was a high-profile planning commissioner, he had influential friends on the city council, and he was openly gay. His family believes he may have been targeted because of his lifestyle.
It is disheartening that after 20 years, we still are no further along than we were a week after it happened.
At the time, the LGBTQ community was on edge because there were several gay men that had been killed and they thought that there might be a serial killer. There was even a task force that was looking into the murders, but they just couldn't link them.
The original detectives did get a lot of tips coming in saying they're possibly related to them. I know in the case file that we had reviewed on there were 6 tips that came in. 4 of those were completely unrelated. People had been convicted of the murders.
Police don't think that it was a hate crime. They think it was someone that Larry knew or someone that he had recently met.
There was no signs of forced entry or anything else that suggests there was like a home invasion or any kind of targeted attack or anything like that. It's still believed at the time that it was an acquaintance.
His mother and sister say he was extremely social and also very talented. They shared a video of him playing the piano with the symphony. And he also loved to paint.
He was creative from the time he could pick up a Crayola. He loved to draw and to own anything.
Police say Larry Wheat was beaten to death in his apartment in an area of Dallas that is now called the Cedars. A neighbor called 911 after he heard screaming and he saw the suspect.
He had asked him for directions on how to get out of the Mr. Wheat's apartment. That neighbor ended up escorting him out through the gate. Afterwards, they ended up looking through a window and saw Mr. Wheat deceased inside of his apartment.
Like so many families, his mom got a call with the news that no mom wants to hear. The call came from her sister who lived in Dallas. The mom lived in West Texas.
She had news that was going to be hard, and she took it from the police came to visit, and they told me that Larry had been killed.
The killer left behind no evidence. There's no DNA, no fingerprints, no surveillance camera footage. Police did get a good description and they came up with a composite sketch. To me, that sketch looks very distinctive, especially if you take a look at the hair.
From the neighbor that actually witnessed the gentleman leaving on here, he described him as either white or Hispanic, but unable to determine like specifically what kind of ethnicity or anything like that.
The family believes that the initial detective didn't put a lot of work into the case because Larry was gay.
Unbelievable. It just seems beyond me that they can't find something.
Now the current detective says they have years of notes on this case and that they took it seriously.
That's not something we just do overnight. And I can assure you we take every single murder seriously, regardless of anything.
Police say at this time, they can only hope that somebody comes forward with a tip that will help solve this case. Typically, they say a killer will always tell someone what they did and they need that person to come forward.
I think it would be just providing peace and to know that this isn't going to happen to anybody else by the same individual.
If you know anything about this crime, please email Rebecca at rlopez@wfaa.com.